There are 5 things I think you need to know about purchasing a go bag or a backpack or some kind of carrying case for your ham radio and ham radio accessories. We're going to talk about it right now on Ham Radio Dude.
It is true. There are many different bags in amateur radio, but today we're not going to talk about those bags. Today we're going to talk about these bags. The bags you might choose and the bags you might use while you're operating amateur radio portable, or just the bags that you might use to carry things like your tools and your equipment. I want to talk about today some of the most critical things that you might need when looking for a bag. And to get started with that, first I want to welcome you to the channel, but I want to talk about needs versus wants. The fact is, I need something that's going to protect my equipment when I'm doing something like a hike or I'm walking on a beach, especially on a beach because of the sand. But I always want bigger, better, and badder stuff, and I always see the coolest stuff coming out and think, man, I have to have that. Well, it's not necessarily always the case.
So today, as we talk about bags, I'm going to tell you about 5 of the most important things that I think that you're going to need to get started. And they are size and capacity, the comfort of the bag that you choose, durability, the number of compartments, and any extra features that you might see. Now, when I talk about these, they will be in and out of order.
Number one thing that I want to talk about today is the size and the capacity of a bag, sort of like I just mentioned. If I'm going out on a 3-day hike, I may need a larger bag than if I'm going out on a short portable or on-foot pedestrian mobile hike, or even on a bicycle. And so there are many different size bags that you need to ultimately choose. My favorite tip to tell you where to start looking for a bag to understand if it's going to be the right size for you or not, it's not on Amazon.com and it's not at 12 different sports stores. It's actually at Goodwill, because Goodwill has a large variety of different bags that you might be interested in. Let me show you an example here. This bag right here would be considered a travel accessory bag. And I believe the concept is you would put your combs in here and your toiletries. And then there's these 2 zippers, which when you unzip it, this actually folds out each way. And inside of here, I'm able to fit a Nintendo Switch case, I think it's called a Nintendo Switch case with a Lab 599 in there, an end-fed half-wave wire, and everything else I need to operate portable radio. And look at this, it all fits in my hand here. So I could walk around and I'm not very inconvenienced by having to carry around something that's super bulky. So maybe if I'm going on a day trip, I just carry this little bag on me. Oh, and I wanted to point out that, as you can see here, maybe, this bag only cost me about $2.99 at Goodwill. And that's why I went to Goodwill. I knew that if I went there, I would find lunch boxes, I would find hard cases and soft cases. And here's another example. Ultimately, I decided not to use this as a ham radio go box or bag because I think it's kind of nice in order not to do that. But what this was $1.99. It's normally $40 in the store, and it's a humidor for cigars. So my thought process was, hey, I would just take out the wood here and I would be able to fit in a small radio like a true SDX, something along those lines. But furthermore, I think after seeing this, I'm gonna send it to somebody who would actually enjoy it as a humidor. But it was nice to see this at the store, and I thought to myself, boy, I could fit an end fed in here like this. I could fit a 9-to-1 right there, and then the true SDX down in here. Any kind of like small battery like a Denko could fit in here. Maybe a 6-amp-hour Denko could fit in here, no problem. And if I decided I wanted something like a backpack, I do see tactical backpacks at Goodwill occasionally. They never seem to be great quality. What am I looking for in quality? Well, I'm looking for how padded the outside of the bag is to protect my radio and my equipment inside of it. But I'm also looking to make sure that, in this case, the zipper seems okay, that the zipper is gonna be somewhat durable. If I could pull it like this and it's gonna rip apart, it's not necessarily gonna be a good bag. So in this instance, the reason I didn't choose to carry this bag consistently, by the way, I think it was like $3, was because it just didn't have enough padding on it to my liking. But again, this might be something that works for you that just didn't necessarily work out for me. And I did mention a little bit of quality there, and I know we're talking about size. I want to jump back to that real quick. I also found this at Goodwill, which is a little bit more money. I think it was $7, and it has multiple compartments, which is going to be the next thing we talk about. But overall, size is going to be definitely very important for you.
One of my favorite things is getting the low pro camera bags, and I find them all the time at Goodwill. Why do I like those so much? Because they could hold something like my end-fed half wave, as you see here. And that's pretty cool because then my radio wires could go in there and any connectors I need. So when this is on my bench at home or on the shelf, I could say I want to go do radio, and I can grab that bag and put it in my larger go bag if I need to.
And when we talk about size, we also consider the fact that the larger of a bag we have, the more weight it is. The more weight we have to carry around, the more we physically exert ourselves quicker. And so if we are deciding to go with a larger bag or a backpack bag, maybe even though we're exerting ourselves quicker, physically exerting ourselves quicker, maybe we have a nice comfortable way to carry this, right? And when we talk about comfort, we talk about padding on the back of a bag. Let me give you an example that I didn't find at Goodwill. And as you continue to age, it becomes more important to find ways to be more comfortable with what you carry, especially as our bodies age and don't necessarily agree with the things we did when we were younger. But with this is a Tideweed tactical bag. And what this tactical bag is all about is many compartments, very durable zippers. This is a great bag, albeit heavy. And it does have these straps which could be comfortable, and it does have this nice little backing area here, which has some padding so that when you're carrying it, it's not as cumbersome on your back. And the other thing that it has is going to be something that goes around your waist here and could click into place. I need to adjust this one. What is this doing? Well, if you get the shoulder portion adjusted correctly and then you were able to adjust the belt area, it definitely helps distribute the weight so that everything's not pulling down on your shoulders or hurting your lower back. And that becomes very useful if you're going on a long hike. Again, if I'm doing just a quick day thing or going to activate a park portable, maybe I'm not using this if I don't need to fill all this up. This fits my ICOM IC705 very nice, and then all my accessories down here with plenty of room for pew-pews and ammo. It might be a go bag. So padded shoulder straps and a padded back are going to be critical to comfort while you carry a backpack in amateur radio or with any tools that you might have in there. Maybe with something like this, it's not as important to have comfort because it's going to be lightweight and you can carry it on your side, but it still may be a consideration. Some of these have spots just like this for a strap, which would be very nice to have. Again, I'm going to reiterate, I really mention going to Goodwill in order to find something that may work for you before anywhere else, or any other kind of thrift store, to be fair. And I already actually did talk about the third thing that's critical as far as looking for a shack in a sack. Yeah, shack in a sack. And that was going to be the durability. We want to make sure that whatever we're finding has very reliable and strong zippers. You would hate to be walking on the trail with this cool, not just cool, tactical backpack, and all of a sudden, again, the zippers on this one are good, but all of a sudden, these straps really suck. And all of a sudden, as you're on the trail, the strap rips off because it was cheaply sewn together, or the bag just, the zipper rips off and all your amateur radio gear flies out. That would be, and has happened, very upsetting. So I mentioned those three things as critical, or in my opinion, at least must consider when looking for the perfect go bag or shack in the sack amateur radio carrying case that you could get. But there are probably just a few more considerations that I'd like to share with you. Something that not one of these bags have, and I have this cool Oakley laptop bag. I think I got it for $2.99. I have a diaper bag that carries my tool case. And every one of the bags that I show you today, the problem with them is none of them have any protection for like a rain cover. So if it starts raining, some of these may actually get a little bit of water or moisture inside. And with your amateur radio, with your coax, with your antenna that's in there, that's not necessarily always a great thing. So one of the considerations you might make when looking for a backpack for amateur radio use is there a rain cover or a backpack poncho, if you will? I see something here real quick that will help demonstrate what I might be talking about. I frequently use this. Okay, this was not a Goodwill find. This was something for a bicycle. And the reason this is really nice is it does have these reflective things. Maybe you end up getting lost on the trail, okay? Maybe these reflective things at night are actually a good thing if somebody's looking for you. But what I wanted to mention was the inside lining of this. It does help prevent moisture or water from getting in. So you might still get the outside or the exterior wet here, but this is gonna help prevent the moisture from fully accessing all your equipment.
And since a bicycle bag was made to be outdoors, it's made to be put on a bike while riding, and it's expected that eventually one day you will get stuck in the rain. The zipper on that bag also has some sort of weatherproofing or weather sealing. It's not perfect, and it still is recommended that you have some kind of cover over the bag, but it does help a little bit.
Again, it's not going to be completely reliable, but it is one consideration.
That's what I just said.
But then again, there are the covers, like I was trying to mention, the ponchos and the rain covers for your bags, which would be great. And you might have noticed some of the bags that I have, they do have a lot of cool compartments. Again, if we look at that Tideweed, I picked this up because of the amount of compartments. Now, not only do you have somewhere to hold your cool American sunglasses, try to knock those ones. Then you also have another compartment where my ICOM IC705 and POV case can sit, okay? And not only that though, but you have all these side compartments rather, for things like your first aid kit, things like maybe even your water. Sometimes you might even find straps in the side where you could strap in your fiberglass mast, if you will. And then finally, there's even this section on the bottom here where when I open it up, I could hold my tablet, and I have a spot here for a whole nother radio. I could put a Xiegu G106 in here. I don't know what's in here right now. I think there's a battery in here. And then I have all these little slots as well, all these little compartments, which were originally made for pew-pews. But it is nice to have a bag that has multiple compartments so you can stay organized. It's 10 a.m. And that's ultimately another thing about this bag is there is just a little bit of a spot here on the front for some Molly gear, so that I could put my med kit in the front right here if needed, which would probably be the best idea, because then if I needed to access it, boom, it's right there. But this has padding, this has quality zippers, this has good stitching, this has multiple compartments. It's just, again, it's a lot of bag to carry for just a portable hike in a state park locally that might only last an hour. Much like if you're going to work and you might carry a laptop bag. When you go camping, you're gonna carry a camping bag. And when we talk about amateur radio, we could really incorporate a lot of different kinds of bags. And really what it comes down to is I can't tell you which bag is the best, because ultimately at the end of the day, we're all different individuals with different needs. Somebody who has a handicap might not be able to carry a Tideweed Tactical bag, and maybe they carry an ammo can that's made of plastic and that works for them. You know, something like this that you would get from Harbor Freight, Tactical. So you're gonna wanna go out there and you're gonna wanna try different bags. A great place, again, Goodwill, because you just never know what you're gonna find there. But also maybe then hit the sports stores and check out some of their bags for hiking, camping, the fishing section. And maybe you'll be able to make a decision, and more importantly, try on the bag. Now, if you're there and you're trying on a bag, I'm not gonna tell you to bring your amateur radio gear with you, but maybe find a way to replicate the amount of weight that you're gonna carry in the bag if you were to pick up that bag. You could think that the zipper is great on this bag all day long, but then when you put weight in it, it may rip. Or you could think that this bag is gonna be the most comfortable bag in the world, until you get some weight in it.
That bag right there, that's a camera bag, and actually works really well as a camera bag when all the compartments are there. However, this one I think didn't come with any compartments, and so all the weight when you put the gear in there shifts all the way to one spot, and over time that becomes uncomfortable.
And really, if I'm trying to keep my load as light and small as possible, and I'm operating QRP, it's as simple as having my end-fed half wave in here, my CW key in here, and the actual radio in here too. Now I need a battery, right? Hold on. Also with all my microphones and accessories right in here. Easy as can be.
I hope this episode brought you value. Today we talked about 5 things I believe are critical when choosing a go bag for amateur radio use or really any other use in general. Those 5 things that we talked about were the size and capacity, the comfort, the durability or quality, the number of compartments, and finally any other extra features that you might think of. Now, I didn't tell you one thing throughout the episode, which is number 6, but I kind of hinted toward it the whole time. And I'll leave you with this. If you go to Goodwill and you find yourself a cool go bag and it works for you and it's comfortable and it meets all those requirements, and it was only $6.99 as opposed to the $80 that you might get a bag for, $120 you might get a go bag for at some of these other vendors or places online, that means you've just saved yourself up to $114 that you could use for more amateur radio gear. And with that, I hope you have a good one. Thanks for watching the channel. Please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Until next time, this channel's Ham Radio Dude 73.